after being up so late. I'm going to try to keep you awake, because I know that must have been really tiring. And what I want to talk about today is just some basic principles of handling cattle. And then the next talk is going to be on facility design. Then I want to talk about why is it important to reduce stress on animals. And then I'm going to end up telling about my objective scoring system and some of the work that I've done on humane slaughter. And you'll even get to see what some of the stuff looks like inside the slaughter plants. And there's a big difference between what's actually going on in most of the plants and what's on the YouTube videos. The YouTube videos is everything hideous and bad. Yes, those hideous and bad things happened. But to say that's the whole industry, that's just simply not true. One of the things the industry's got to get a lot better at is communicating their stuff, the good stuff they do out in the industry. I've put videos up on YouTube, and I've gotten some really good comments, but I've also gotten, some unprintable emails. No, we take that stuff down. I call them F-bombs, and I just can't believe some, and most of the really nasty stuff is written by, like teenage boys. But we need to be getting messages out to the public on things like, there's certain land where you can only graze cattle on. Okay, I drove up here from Fort Collins yesterday, and usually when I go north and the west, I flew, because I'd be going up to Rapid City. Now, and most of my other trips, I was like going into Nebraska. Well, you get up to Cheyenne, you drive into Nebraska, it's all cropland. But I drove like almost 200 miles on land that can only be used for grazing. Can't be used for anything else. You're going to wreck it. It'll turn into badlands if you try to crop it. That's the kind of stuff, kind of knowledge we need to get out to the public. And there's a lot of issues right now with animal welfare, and pigs and chickens have a lot of problems, but beef doesn't really have that many problems. And beef needs to be telling about the good things we do. Like maybe you ought to put a tour of your ranch up on YouTube. And make sure when you do your write-up, your little write-up, you put plenty of keywords in there, like ranch and cattle and beef and things like that, so that the search engines can find it. Because when I typed last year, cattle ranch into YouTube, it was almost all ranches for sale. Now I type it in there and I'm getting ranches and stuff and feedlots from Brazil in there, in the top 10 hits. Let's get some stuff up there from Wyoming, showing the good things that ranchers are doing. And that, this part of the world here, grazing's all you can do with the land. Let's tell the public about those kind of good things, because that's where all the people in New York and other places go to. Let's do that. Now I want to talk about cattle handling. But it's been very interesting going out on a book tour and to go to a big bookstore in New York and get attacked by an animal rights radical that thinks that everything with cattle and pigs and everything else is like totally bad. Well, it's not totally bad. And I have to say the drive yesterday was very, very educational for me, because 200 miles of driving through land that can only be grazed. You drive east and west, that's not the case. Okay, one of the most important things in handling livestock is to keep your animals calm. Calm cattle, calm pigs, calm anything. It's easier to handle. Another thing we got to be doing is to get people to be quiet when they handle cattle. There's been research that shows that when you scream and yell at cattle, it's just as stressful as electric prods. It makes their heart rate go up more than the sound of gate slamming. The animals know the difference between people screaming at them and equipment noise, like hydraulic chutes and things like that, gate slamming, and they get scared of people screaming at them. I don't know how many times I've had people say, well, if I could just get this particular person to stop screaming at the cattle. No, calm down, because once they get excited, it takes 20 or 30 minutes for them to calm back down. Cattle have wide-angle vision. They're grazing animals. So when they're grazing, they can watch all around for danger. They're very sensitive to rapid movement and high contrast of light and dark. Now I'm going to just go through some of the things you need to get out of your cattle handling facilities that can cause a problem with handling. Okay, let's say you were driving the cattle down this road. They would stop at this white lid. Paper bag on the road, anything, any little contrast thing. There's an old sketch that was done years ago of a mama cows walking at the white line on the highway. Give your leader animal a chance to put her head down and take a look. Because once the leader crosses over the shadow or over the white line, then the others will follow. But if you just rush them up there, they're going to turn back on you. Just as sure as I'm right here, they'll turn back on you. Now, I always get asked, are animals scared of getting slaughtered? Because half of all the cattle in this country, and they go to a meat plant, they're handled with a piece of equipment I designed. A piece of equipment called the center track restrainer. They got one down at the Greeley plant, and they got one at the Fort Morgan plant. This pig is looking right at dripping water. He's looking at a reflection on dripping water. And I have found sometimes that if you just change your lighting, the animal will then walk right up to shoot. They're afraid of reflections. They're afraid of a chain hanging down. And the other thing I found is that the animals behave the same way walking into the slaughter plant, really, let's say, as going into the chute on a range. Now, they don't know what it is. But if you get rid of the stuff they're afraid of, then they'll walk right up that chute. Here's just a list of some of the things you need to get rid of in your handling facility. And you could have